We're the Bad Randoms. Welcome to the Brawl Stars World Finals. Am I just cursed or gone insane? The shadows whispering his name. It's no wonder he's the first. He will make your life worse. He loves your pain. She goes dashing for the wall, never lets go of the ball. This is your fate, 'cause we risk it all just to win this fight. But victory lies in the hands of the creature of the night. From the depths he came, life will never be the same. You'll hear his name, and you'll know it's more to say. He'll destroy your fame, he's the first to call you blame. You'll hear his name, and you'll know it's more to game. It's more to game. He hides in a bush, got it all figured out. His plan is to die, trying to take down Sprout. He's the one who starts the scheme, he's forever on your team, he's on your head. Once you think you're on a roll, Mortis summons all the trolls. This is your fate, 'cause we risk it all just to win this fight. But victory lies in the hands of the creature of the night. From the depths he came, life will never be the same. You'll hear his name, and you'll know it's more to game. So profane, and there's no stopping this train. You'll hear his name, and you'll know it's more to game.
Bonjour à tous Paris! Bienvenue à tous au final mondial de Brawl Stars. 16 équipes se sont battues tout au long de l'année autour du monde pour se qualifier et nous rejoindre ici à Disneyland Paris. 16 équipes, 3 jours de compétition, un seul trophée, une seule équipe pourra rentrer chez elle en tant que championne du monde. Ce dimanche, gros week-end de Brawl Stars, on compte sur vous. And of course, for all of the English speakers out there, whether it's you or anyone at home, of course, all of you guys, I will be speaking in both French and English this weekend. Welcome to the Brawl Stars World Final. And we have here 16 teams who have been fighting all year long around the world to qualify and join us right here in Disneyland Paris to get this trophy. 16 teams, 3 days of competition. Only one will leave as the champion. I am Damascus, I will be your host all weekend, but without further ado, let's get brawling!
Thank you very much, Damascus, and yes, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 2022 Brawl Stars World Finals. I'm Mitch Leslie here, joined by Ark, and what a pleasure it is now to stand here at the culmination of an incredible year of Brawl Stars Championship.
This is what it's all been building up to. You know, it's such a great privilege to be here. It's been such a fantastic year for Brawl Esports, and again, what a fine setting this is. I mean, this is where dreams literally come true. It's going to come true for one of these 16 teams over the next 3 days.
That's right, Disneyland Paris. That's the stuff that dreams are made of, but only one team can stand at the top of the heap here as the Brawl Stars World Champion. Let's talk about what we should expect over the coming days in this tournament. It is a grueling 16-team single elimination bracket. That's right. You win, you advance. You lose, you go home. We're best of fives all the way through to our best of 7 grand finals.
Yeah, that best of 7, of course, was where everyone wants to get to. And again, you know, it's not an impossibility to come back in this competition. It is, of course, single elimination, but this is what everyone is playing for. A total prizing of $1 million. Life-changing sums there. For first place, $400,000. For second, $200,000 as well. Third to fourth, $80,000. And fifth to eighth, $30,000. And if you get last, you're still not going home empty-handed. £15,000 for 9th to 16th place.
Fitting prize for the pinnacle of Brawl Stars Esports. Let's talk bracket. Here it is. Our round of 16 starts with Zeta Division 1 versus Chasmac Gaming EU. Today we'll also have Reply Totem and Vatra Gaming, AC Milan Clash, STMN, and then Stalwart Esports and Team Queso. So 4 single elimination best of 5 matches. And again, there's some fantastic heads-to-heads here, right? We have a clash of our regions coming together for the first time since the MSI, and we're all waiting with bated breath to see what they've been working on.
Yeah, some absolutely banger matches there. Some very, very close ones as well. The predictions are going to say one thing or the other, but honestly, it doesn't reflect just how close some of these matches are going to be.
Yeah, okay. Look, our predictions for this first match, many of us are definitely on the side of that East Asian representative, Zeta Division 1. We're definitely split when it comes to our second match between Vatra and Reply Totem. We're dealing with the number 2 seeds from both NA and LATAM North and EMEA respectively. That is going to be an incredible game. We're all on the STMN bandwagon here. That by no means is going to be a one-sided game, and many of us believe that Team Queso have got what it takes to get all the way through. Again, we put our best foot forward with our predictions. You can join us at home over at event.brawlstars.com. You can make your predictions, vote on the MVPs of the matches that we see, and have a chance to win some fantastic in-game loot.
Absolutely so. You know, you want to get through all the way to that final tier for Rage Quit Tara. We've never given away a skin before in the history of the BSC, so this is a wondrous thing to be able to do. And of course, get those predictions on point. We'll do our best to help you guys along the way in order to do so.
Now, of course, you can also get involved over on TikTok. Show us your perspective or your memories of this tournament with the hashtag BSWF22. We can't wait to see what you guys are cooking up over there. But what's cooking up over on the stage is pretty darn spicy. I'll tell you that for free. The number 1 seed from the East Asian region takes on the number 6 seed from EMEA. Zeta Division 1 goes up against Chasmac Gaming EU.
Zeta Division 1, I mean, we've got to start there. I mean, what a phenomenal team. I mean, they've just been so dominant all year long. Chasmac, it's definitely fair to say, are a bit of the underdog in this series. But again, that's not to count them out. They've had some good promise, and they've made some good adaptation along the journey.
Zeta Division, our last year's World Championships, they split the team, right? They take Statampo, an all-star player, out, and they build around him. And that has looked incredible so far, of course, bringing in Kenji and Moyogoku. But let's not waste too much time. Let's head down to the stage and welcome out the first of our competitors.
Et allez, c'est l'heure, c'est le moment pour notre premier match du week-end. 16 équipes, beaucoup d'actions sur Brawl Stars. Mais quoi de mieux pour commencer que d'accueillir les mastodontes de la compétition? Ils font partie des grands favoris de cette compétition. Ils nous viennent du Japon. Un tonnerre d'applaudissements pour Zeta Division 1!
Last year's world champion, Shitavo, joined this year by Mongoku, Kenji. Will Zeta dominate again? The list of achievements is endless. MSI champions of 2022, 6 grand final appearances, 4 grand final wins. Snapdragon Pro Series champions, the APAC region, take the stand. And that is indeed a terrifying prospect in itself.
March, April, August, October, monthly finals champions. Like I said, only ever losing to Zeta Division 0 in those tournaments. This team's got some pretty insane win rates. The MSI, of course, champions, beating SK 3-2 in that grand final. This team has it all. What a treat to get our probably favorite team to take the stage so early in the tournament. And their opponents are definitely the David in this David versus Goliath situation. Let's now welcome them to the stage.
Et leurs adversaires du jour, ce sont les challengers. Ils viennent d'un pays qui n'a jamais été représenté dans des finales mondiales de Brawl Stars. 3 joueurs polonais qui vont venir challenger ceux qui sont les grands favoris de ce tournoi. S'il vous plaît, un max de bruit pour Chazma Gaming EU!
They are the first ever Polish players to compete in the World Finals. And Rama, Naui and Gero, Coach Philip, hoping to do their country proud. They made the Grand Finals once this year in the EMEA region back in April, losing a match point to Tribe Gaming EU by a singular bounty star. They are considered by many as the underdog in this matchup, but if they can prevail as the top dog, it will send a shockwave throughout the arena.
This team has had some pretty solid performances over the last couple of months, but there's no doubt about it, Ark. They started on the right foot at the beginning of this year, and then they started to run into a little bit of trouble. Gero comes and joins this team, and Rama believes that he really helps them and allows them to deepen their pool of strategies and increase their communication. This team qualified as Craze Clan and were picked up instantly by Chazma Gaming Europe, who wanted a representative from that EMEA region. This team got a lot on their plate right now. They come in as at number 6 seed, but again, the EMEA region, Arc, is so competitive. Even at number 6, you can't be sleeping on this team, and I'm sure that Zeta Division 1 aren't either.
Exactly that. It really is the case. And, with a lot of, background history and dominance in the scene comes a lot of stress, a lot of responsibility to maintain, and obviously a fan following to please. For Chazma Gaming today, they come in with less of that strain and that weight on their shoulders. And if they can get these drafts right, and have done their homework in that respect, to see through the cracks and the weaknesses that may be within Zeta Division 1 here today, then they could cause a potentially catastrophic upset.
Hearing from Zeta Division 1, they said, look, Chazma EU's a strong team, but we are confident of winning. That came from Kenji here, and you can't blame this team. They've been the best because they've beaten the best. In MSI, it was Team Keizo, then STMM with a 3-1 result, and as we mentioned earlier, a win against SK Gaming. It's not the first time this Zeta Division 1 team has been pitted against the rest of the world. For Chazma, it is a baptism of fire. And again, if it goes wrong for them here, they're going home.
But the scariest thing about Zeta Division 1 for me is the fact that their best performance was in October. They didn't drop a single set, which means coming into the World Finals, they're at their peak, they're at their top, they're at their very best. And for Chazma Gaming, it was a little bit of the opposite. Their best performance was back in April of this year, and they've had a bit of a trying time, but they've had a little bit of a chance to breathe and reflect upon the year and to look back at where things didn't go quite so right for them. And I really hope that today we see a refreshed, a revitalized Chazma Gaming EU, because again, this matchup, I'm sure to many, may seem like that David and Goliath story.
Sure.
But if they can prevail and move forwards and leave Zeta Division 1 in the dust, I'm sure that going into other days, people will be looking upon this in a very different light.
Again, this team, yeah, 9 points was what they managed to get into World Finals qualification with. Again, we have a lot of representatives from the EMEA region because it is considered widely very competitive. There's a lot of depth of talent on these particular teams. And again, like, this team sort of believes that they benefited really greatly from our move this year towards a pick and ban system. They felt like that allowed them to get a good read on their opponents in terms of what came out in that phase. And quite often we see teams go for a very cheeky pick. If they have that last pick, that pick number 6, we get to see some really interesting strategies, potentially bringing in tanks when there otherwise wouldn't be any counters. They might be relying on that in some of these sets to get the drop on Zeta Division 1. My question is, just what kind of breadth of strategies have Zeta Division 1 been exposed to, been prepared for? How easy is it going to be, or rather how difficult, to pull the wool over this team's eyes? Because I get the feeling you have to get up pretty early in the morning to pull one over on Chitampo and his mates.
Yeah, we were saying earlier, he can basically play Brawl with his eyes closed, can't he? I mean, you know, with Zeta Division 1, it's a really interesting style to the draft because you are forced to make that decision of, do I want to ban the meta, or do I want to ban what Zeta Division 1 are best with? And, you know, that is, oh my word, Uber, 91% of those watching on event.brawlstars.com think that Zeta Division 1 are going to take this one. We shall see. The draft comes in thick and fast.
It is Kenji, Moyogoku, and Chitampo here to make the first pick for the side of Zeta Division 1. Again, we're going to be playing Knockout first. It's going to be out in the open. Again, a really curious map, right? Because their left lane for both teams is kind of cut off unless you're playing Eve or something with that utility. Let's talk Brock, though. He's picked first.
I love that pick. Breaking open the mid very early on with the rocket fuel and allowing your team to get really quickly into the map and in your lanes. Eve banned, I think it's a smart move there by Chazmak, because ultimately that is a great brawler to have on those side lanes and one that has a lot of maneuverability around the lake area. The Fang ban, and actually Zeta Division 1 banning Max for me is a real thing to point out because, you know, a lot of what we saw in the last year's World Finals from Zeta was primarily utilizing Max's speed. Sharpshooters are all the flavor for Chazmak as Pipe is their first pick.
Chazmak respect as well. That Otis ban is probably targeted at Chitampo, who often picks that one up in his region and looks absolutely frightening as a duelist. There's really not much you can do once you get muted by that super. So you can't ban all the sharpshooters. That is quite clear. Both teams have opted for pretty strong mids. Tick comes in as well, looking for a bit of map control to be picked up.
Yeah, I quite like how this is shaping up so far for Chazmak, and now Zeta Division 1 a chance to respond. I do love the idea of Bell here. I think Bell is in a fantastic spot, or Penny. I think they're having something to apply some pressure, some control, like that Penny turret could go quite a long way here. But that Tick is going to be vulnerable on the side of Chazmak as well, and they know that they've got ultimately a lot of the more aggressive brawlers which could counter it banned out on the side of Zeta Division. So again, it does show that Chazmak are showing some good signs of awareness and strategy. Carl coming in for Zeta.
This pick for Chitampo, he has not lost a set when he has picked Carl. He is 6-0 when he's gone for that brawler. Fantastic mid-range with also that all-in potential that you love to see. I'm going to be looking out for that, and Gene, I mean, this team composition looks nice and rounded out.
Yeah, and those magic puffs on the healing side surely going to be coming into play big time then for Zeta if they find themselves on the ropes and in the back spawn. If Chazmak can get that early advantage in that high ground, then, you know, having some survivability is going to go a long, long way. Gus coming in, and this is one of those brawlers that I've seen in Zeta's scrims. They play Gus everywhere, so it's surprising to me that they've actually left it open and that Chazmak have seen that door and walked through it.
Extremely powerful right now. We know that with that star power, Gero is going to be able, or whoever's playing the Gus is going to be able to apply also that damage boost to whoever receives the shield. So in clutch moments, that's going to be absolutely crucial if he decides to go in that direction. But when there's Gene floating around, there's a sense of inevitability, right, Arc? That magic hand can be devastating.
Absolutely so. And in we go. Zeta starting things out there, slow and patient and steady to win the race. The rocket fuel, I don't think connected there, but the range is what's more important than keeping that at bay. But there's a great tap from Geru there. Kenji, very low. And I love this start so far from Zeta, just getting the positioning power over Chazmak.
And now he actually takes health penalty here, so actually boosts the healing of those spirits, favoring the sustain game a little bit more here for Chazmak. But you can see the pressure that Zeta Division 1 are applying early. They're building Moyogoku up towards that magic hand. They're looking just to break this game right open with that Gene Super.
Yeah, they want to close the gap over time. Ultimately, that's where Piper is going to struggle in those later stages as the gas starts to come into play and closes in on the map. So having that magic hand for later and just buying time to allow that situation to occur is going to go a long, long way. But I feel like Chazmak do need to get out of this one a little bit. The shield there popped, and now he pushing forward and gets the takedown on Kenji.
The gadget activation there from Naui was huge. Oh, that extra damage from the Spirit, and there it is, the magic hand, but Ticket's coming in. Moya Goku's low. Spooky goes to come out, but it's not enough, and Chazmak get one on the board early.
Great stuff. This is what I wanted to see from Chazmak, because they need to get some early momentum against this particular matchup. Let's see now, left-hand side lane, but look at the flying hook over the lane, because Chitampo goes in and Drama goes down. Beautiful stuff, and what a different game this is from the last one.
Already a 3 versus 2 Zeta Division 1 now, done playing nice. Moya Goku closes the gap, and that magic hand's available, but it won't be needed to take down Gero. At 3 versus 1 now, Noe has to try and hang on. They're baiting out that gadget activation, it feels, and it's a matter of time now. So hard to win from this position. Zeta, even it up.
Yeah, smart for them to allow Kenji to pick up that kill as well, because he's trying to get that super as well. Everyone else already has theirs on the board here, so, but what a great response. Honestly, that is what is so scary about Zeta. They treat every round as if it's a fresh new one, and that great pull coming in. Oh, beautiful stuff there from Chitampo, making that early 3 versus 2.
A Gus Super Shield not nearly enough to keep him alive. Poppet has to be used as Gero tries to get away, but Chitampo is relentless, and Rama falls. Zeta Division 1 take that first round.
It feels like Zeta took that first round personally and came back fighting. And that is what Chazmak have got to be so cautious around. They've got to make sure to just keep it slow and patient like they did in that first round. And I love it. You can just see the energy there. Chitampo just getting geared up, and you know, they can feel that first set potential there for them if they can just keep themselves going.
It's the one thing about Chazmak's composition arc. They can struggle sometimes if they get dove on, and that flying hook is big to allow Chitampo to advance. Some environmental destruction here via Kenji, and again, Zeta look to encroach.
Gero was having a tough time on the left as Kenji really just utilizing a lot of that incendiary on the ground, and it is going to restrict the movement, of course, as well. Now he's fitting in a little bit more into Moya Goku, who's going to be earning that magic hand shortly. But this is where we saw Chazmak in that first round really start to thrive. They just took their time, but I do like this position. It's a stronghold here for Zeta.
That's going to keep Kenji quiet for a bit. Gero getting a lot of value out of that speed gear inside the bushes. Forcing the magic puff to come in, but Chitampo is closing the gap again. It might be time for the all-in. Now he's extremely low, trying to stave Chitampo off. It's going to be the tick head use, and Chitampo gets on out of dodge, and there's the magic hand. What a connection. And there it is. Zeta Division 1, commanding start to this second round.
As soon as one brick comes loose, the whole wall comes crashing down as Zeta really are starting to enjoy themselves. Their thumbs are now warmed up, and they can taste this set going their way. But can we see some resolve? Can we see something from Chazmak to be able to put a stop to this potential inevitability here? Healing path's much needed there. Going Moya Goku and just keeping everyone in the mix, taking it slow and steady yet again, and ready to explode surely in the near moments.
Means you don't spend as much time out of the fight if you need to be topped up. Just get there by your G and you'll be ready to rock soon. There it is, flying hook. It's going to be the tailspin now. Rama in trouble. Last hurrah used to get him away, but he's low. 75 HP. Chitampo the first to fall, though. Now he comes to the rescue, and Chazmak have a player advantage.
Yeah, Rama's in a tough spot here, though, as well, but let's see. Oh, beautiful. My word. Great play from Chazmak, and Moya Goku goes down swiftly after. This is going to come down to a round.
Against Chitampo, always going to be the one to take the risk there. Trying to go all in and get staved off. The Gus Super Shield, so crucial in moments like that. He's got another one available.
Well, no more flying hooks for Chitampo, and that, I feel, is the strength of this Zeta comp. As soon as he goes in, that's when Chazmak gets stirred. But there's a lot of utility on the side of Chazmak that can't be denied. Ultimately, a nice Gus shield will go a long, long way here. Rama just keeping the ticket in the miss. Pull could be costly.
Yeah, that one pulls up a little bit short here. Chitampo realizes he can't go in, so he tailspins on his own side of the map. Moya Goku's going to have to take a sidebar, get himself top back up here as Chazmak have a chance to take the map control.
Rama's got to stay alive here. They do not want to be at a disadvantage, not in this position. Chazmak are one round away from taking this game, and that would even things out massively so. They do not want to be one step behind here, not at all. Gero just going to keep holding the super as well and just time it perfectly. Rama goes low. Okay, the last round just in time.
And here's the thick head coming in. A lot of health on that, but it's still going to be removed. The gas now is going to begin to encroach. Chitampo's in trouble. He's pinched on there. Now he finds the kill, but it's going to be traded back. Rama in the gas. He can't get out. Poppin has to be used as Gero going to be enough. And Zeta Division 1 start on the strong foot.
This is where that experience really comes in to play, keeping that cool composure when much needed, because I've got to say, that was not nearly, I feel, as one-sided as many at home were thinking coming in. Chasmac really stood their ground, and I think they stood it well.
Again, they've taken great opportunities to punish that aggression from Stitampo. We kind of know that's the go signal. As soon as there's a magic hand that gets connected, Stitampo wants to follow it up there. You see, it works perfectly. He doesn't even have to go aggressive with that flying hook. Good energy here from Zeta Division 1, but I love the fight from Chasmac so far. This may not be nearly as one-sided, like you said, as we had anticipated.
Yeah, I would love to see a set be clawed back along the way here from Chasmac, because ultimately it's a very difficult thing to stand your ground against a team like Zeta Division 1. You know, this is the first time that this team has been in the World Finals on the side of Chasmac, so to really make the most of this opportunity, they are doing that. I think they're performing really, really well.
The pride of Poland giving a good account of themselves here in this first match so far. But Zeta Division 1, always a threat, always looking quite scary. Knockout there, again, ends up being very, very close. You talked a lot about seeing Gus more so in Zeta Division scrims, right? Looks like they're not the only team that's started to pick him up and really get him involved. There's a lot of value you can get. And I love the gadget use, of course, blowing up the ghosts there, able to get that extra damage if someone is too cocky and starts to walk over them. Good start here from Chasmac, but it's going to take more than this, more than pluckiness to beat a team like Zeta Division 1.
Yeah, this is the thing, and you know, with Chasmac, they just got to shake off that defeat very, very quickly and just kind of treat things fresh. I think that, you know, just a lot of the mentality that comes into play when you're faced off against a team like Zeta Division 1 is just believing that you can get the victory. Believing that, you know, you're going up against someone that isn't Zeta Division 1, and just keeping it like that in your mind. And, you know, healthy mentality goes a long, long way in esports.
Now, we're heading to Gem Grab next. It's one of Zeta Division 1's best maps. It's a 71% win rate over the course of their monthly finals appearances. So a map they're pretty comfortable on, but it's pretty native to many Brawl players here. And you expect Chasmac to have some ideas. Interesting to see the kind of brawlers that we saw banned out in that first map. Right? A lot of them were sort of map specific. A lot of them were like, we know Otis is extremely powerful, right? Just not something that Chasmac seemed to want to deal with in general. We are moments away from heading, of course, into our second set here. Of course, Hard Rock Mine will be the battlefield.
One of my favorites. It's a fantastic gem grab mode map to have, and very, very balanced in that respect.
It's a classic, isn't it?
It really is. It's been around for such a long time, and the players all love it. Those lanes are where the aggression is going to take form, so I like the Stu ban for Chasmac there, but it does still leave the door wide open there for Rico to come in. It's normally an early pick, but not necessarily. That mid as well, going to be an important decision. Who is going to be the gem carrier? Otis for Chasmac, and they were banning it out in the previous set, so again, a very, very strong one, but this is where Zeta can
with that salty barrel has really turned her into so much more of a powerhouse now, really being able to be deadly at close range. Gus is going to be locked in straight away here for Zeta Division 1. You were right, Ark. You were anticipating to see this pick from them.
It's going to be a tough one to face off against, honestly. And ultimately, you know, having the ability to pop the Spooky Popper and just have that additional damage from the ghouls on the map is going to be such a great thing for Zeta to have. And you know, the shield as well, just going to keep that survivability level high. And they do lack the aggression, though, and that is the thing, some control. I do feel like Rico would be the pick, but this is Zeta Division 1. They define the meta. It's going to be Carl yet again.
They love that mid-range presence, of course. Stitampo can operate pretty comfortably on one of those side lanes and take those duels when he has to. I'd love to see if he gets matched up here against the Otis and how that all plays out. But we've seen how scary he is. Again, his record speaks for itself. Undefeated in sets on that pick, as I mentioned already. He's 7-0 now, so definitely something to look out for here. So how do you round out this composition for Chasmac? What are you looking out for?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I would like to see that Rico on the side lane. I'm a bit biased because it is one of my favorite brawlers here on Hard Rock Mine, but gem carrier-wise as well, okay, Max,
Safe
aggression. Yeah, a little bit, and it can work really well in the mid, which I assume is going to be the approach here for Chazmak. So they're going to be lacking in range touch if they do go with that idea. But ultimately, I think there's a wise decision to make. Ultimately, against a team like Zeta Division 1, having that aggressive stance is what made them so successful in the World Finals last year. So, putting themselves against themselves, effectively.
Gives them some disengage potential as well. If they see that flying hook actually thrown out, Shitampo start to approach here. They can back away, and you're a happy man now, Rico. And again, the sustain that he can get from Bouncy Castle in that side lane as well makes him so frustrating to shift. And he can obviously damage you without exposing himself to your more linear attacks from brawlers. So great pick up here, Chazmak, with some powerful brawlers.
I do love that rough span as well from Chazmak, because that's what I'm feeling would have been a great thing to have on the side of Zeta now. Having something of a wall breaker here would deflate some of that effectiveness, some of that controlling element that Rico brings on the side of Chazmak, and Gene is going to come in. And I do love that. I mean, it's very, very similar to what we've already seen demonstrated by Zeta, so they are going to be warmed up to it. And, ultimately, there's a great amount of brawlers that can be effective in the mid here, but this is definitely an underrated mid on Hard Rock Mine. A lot of regions don't tend to use Gene here.
Why do you think that is?
I mean, in North America, they love Piper mid. In EMEA, they love the sort of 8-bit and Bell mids, but I love the fact that Zeta are going back to roots, and this is something which I've been waiting to see for a very long time on Hard Rock Mine.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Hard Rock Mine. Our second set begins now. Already some salvos being exchanged through the middle part of the map here. Rama taking a little low, and yeah, Gero's going to be an absolute pain in the neck on that left-hand side.
Well, the Vision Gear being run by Kenji as well as the Rico as well on the side of Chazmak, and that's going to help a lot. One single connection on any of those shots is going to keep that visibility layer there, but look at this, turning the sheep as Zeta are all plunged together in that bottom right-hand corner, but now some fight back, and it's the exact opposite. Chazmak now very much on the ropes.
Yeah, Kenji able to pick up a couple of those gems here. Chazmak have a lead for the time being. You saw there, the Otis just walk straight over one of those Ghosts and get punished for it in that previous fight. And Shitampo really trying to collapse that side lane here, just move into those bushes. Definite map control here for Zeta Division 1. It's up to Chazmak to find a way to wrest this back. Shitampo low, but there's the magic hand. Kenji at the damage boost, and there it is. Gero taken down. Now we're trying to get aggressive on that right side. It will be picked up. Kenji fancies a bit of argy-bargy himself.
I mean, Gero there really didn't quite cut the mustard, did he? I mean, just caught off guard, didn't connect the super, got pulled in with the magic hand. I think he missed the bouncy castle as well there, so definitely a bit of a miss, but still time to be able to redeem himself. The gems are split, by the way. Despite Zeta's dominance and their aggressive playstyle, Chazmak are hanging on.
Rama pops that super. He sees Shitampo get a little bit low. They do pretty well at dealing with him. They keep Rama alive. But again, that aggression allows Zeta to scale up their map control. Kenji now at 8 gems.
Rama's getting scrutinized here and has to heal up. But again, another missed connection there from Gero on that left-hand side. He does need to start to gain some of this utility and reduce the HP there of Zeta now, who are on countdown. It's not going to be over just yet. They're in a good position to get a reset potential.
Boy, Goku wants to attract as much attention as he can here. No eyes on Kenji for the time being. It's 10-6 in gems, and now some pressure being placed on Kenji.
Beautiful.
He can't stay alive. Oh, gets in there. The super's got to get him out as well. He's getting out of dodge.
My word, Rama playing out of his mind. Beautiful stuff, the phase shifter on point of the super to get away, but will it reset? Will they reset? Oh!
Now he comes back off spawn though, and he's got 16 gems. Kenji doesn't have the mechanism to wrest them back. Moya Goku having to play at range, but he's the only player left here for Zeta Division 1. The gems fall in enemy territory, and Chazmak gobbled them up.
Moya Goku gets the takedown, but there's not going to be enough time. Beautiful stuff from Chazmak getting the steal in the final hour. You've got to admire that resolve.
You got to have some stones to go in and clutch those gems up like that. Love that play, and we see that sometimes on gem grab, right? When you give too much of that map control up too early, you back yourself into a corner and you lose your horde.
Got to remind as well that the fact that 91% of viewers watching on event.brawlstars.com did think that Zeta were going to clutch this very comfortably, but this is not proving to be the case so far. But positioning power so far in the mid is there. Garu Oh, couldn't quite connect that last shot from Chitampo, who's incredibly low. The survivability of that man, my word.
Chitampo is the blunt object here, right? Zeta Division 1 are swinging him at Chazmak every opportunity they have. But he has all the gems right now. Not the ideal gem carrier as someone who wants to be the aggressor, so he'll stay low in his own half of the map, but he's still alive. This is unreal. Walking the knife edge of Zeta Division 1.
There's 5 gems in the pocket so far for Zeta, but they've got to get forward. And a great mute there from Naui. The pick up there as well from Rama. Great stuff. As now Chazmak you can see their confidence. They're starting to get their flow. And Chazmak are just keeping Zeta back. And that's exactly where they've got to keep them.
In making sure their gems are dropped on their side of the map, though, Zeta Division 1 have given up a lot of that map control. Chitampo's the one that should help them retake it, but he's carrying 3 gems right now. Magic Hands there with a face shifter for Rama. He gets a bit of shielding, 6 gems, and he's backing away. Chazmak are able to match this level of aggression. Chitampo's lying in wait.
He's lurking, he's going to go in. Rama with the face shift, not enough to do it. And the gems from picked up, and Chitampo flying hooks away and gets the steal this time. It's return to sender.
Love to see that. The protective pirouette means he can be far more aggressive. He lies in wait in the back line, and now they're going to sit on this pile of gems. But Kenji's got to get taken down. Chitampo's only got 8 gems to work with. Still a lead for Zeta Division 1, but again, they need that map control back. Here's the magic hand.
Oh, 1 gem's going to go over, but they've got to get another one to get on countdown. It's 7 there. Rama's holding forth, but for how long? Great shield there from Goku, and the resolve from the back. Muted out as well. It's still time, and Chazmak have got to go on the aggressive.
Once again, Chitampo, not the ideal gem carrier here, but he's going to lie in wait in these bushes. Try and get back to his side of the map. Protect the pirouette again, going to make him a bit more durable. Rama's trying to get into the cookie jar, though, and he's taken down. Chitampo is out of control. Now we're trying to salvage the situation, but it's too far gone here, and we've got a countdown for Zeta Division 1. Almost all the gems to their name.
There's a bit of time to spend there for the respawn, but Gero goes down as well. Rama has no super, has no utility, has no speed, and Chitampo should be home safe and sound with a bit of body blocking there from Goku for safe measure. Now he's the last chance, he goes down. A great response from Zeta.
These teams are leaving it all out there, straight out of the gates, ladies and gentlemen. A unconventional approach, I think, in that round for Zeta Division 1. They find that Chitampo's carrying most of the gems, but he's the one they want to use to try and get that map control. I love that ninja play, sat in the bush. He had everything he needed to completely derail Chazmak.
Okay, well, Chitampo's in a very tough spot here. 3 versus 1, and does go down. That's going to allow Gero to come from the right-hand side and keep that pressure on. I love the angle between himself and Rama, just keeping that pressure onto Kenji, who can't really do much until he heals back up now.
Couple early gems here for Zeta Division 1 so they can lean into this a little bit more. Gero needs to be dug out of this right-hand side, and Kenji, he obliges.
Yeah, again, another missed super, and that's going to be costly as Goku gets the takedown of Naui. Rama then on the left, and he's got to try to weave his way around to the place of this pressure, but Kenji with the ball, and Gero goes down yet again.
And again, Chitampo carrying the gems. So I'm curious to see how this is going to change the approach now for Zeta Division 1. Kenji gets a little bit caught out there, not much he can do. Now he does have super available, so they're probably going to try and 2v1 this Otis. The mute connects, but now he's not in a great position. Goku trying to stave off the rest of Chazmak, and it pays off. There's going to be a trade here. Chitampo looking for Rama.
Gonna admire the awareness there. Chitampo just knows to flying hook in and just deflate that pressure, that push, and as quickly as that, they're back into the mid. And the gems at the moment are in favor of Chazmak, but I feel the confidence is growing for Zeta.
No doubt about it. Now we're really trying to posture aggressively here on the left. Gero just wants to hold Zeta Division 1 back if possible. The map control belongs to them. It's a very close game in those gems, and Rama's going to be very slippery. It's going to take a lot for Chitampo to be able to close the gap and wrest them out of his hands. Now we're living dangerously. Kenji has a magic hand up, and you can see Zeta Division 1 are looking to make use of it soon. There it is. Mute comes out, but there's no follow-up.
They got that control. Now they've evened out the gems, and Rama, though, has speed. He's going to use it now. Now he's coming in. A couple of shots here and there, but not too much value, to be completely honest. And the pole connects from Kenji, and Zeta show us how it's done. 1 gem away from countdown, but what can Gero do on this bottom right-hand side to stop this countdown?
Not a whole lot, right? He's not in a great position to actually bounce these shots, so really his range is limited. Chitampo, though, he has to get away. Flying hook used, but most of the gems are dropped. Kenji was carrying almost half of them, and now Chazmak get the countdown. They're able to find the one vulnerability on the side of Zeta, and it's 9 seconds left.
Rama is the one who gets Chitampo going in, gets the takedown of Gero. Shield will only be able to do much. The shield is there, but he's got 6 gems. He's so low in terms of HP.
Now bite, just as nasty as one another.
And you can see their jaws on the floor, literally in the arena. And this is what I wanted to see. It felt like Chazmak deserved that set. It felt like they could have deserved the set in the first set, to be completely honest. And now we're all level. And I think that is not where people expected to see this one going.
Yeah, pretty awkward though. Like, I want to kind of talk to you about this kind of split gem carrying that we saw a lot of the time from Zeta Division 1. Often by necessity, you know, Shitampo has to go in and pick up what's dropped, but it put them in some awkward situations where it was not one but two players that were at great risk of losing the lead for their team by getting picked off.
Yeah, this was the vulnerability which, you know, Chazmak really exploited. And that, you know, I've got to say, when Geru missed a lot of those supers, I was a bit hesitant to see how it was going to fare, but he hit them when it mattered most. And, you know, I've got to say as well, Brahma was playing phenomenal. I mean, both of those countdowns were a result of the way that he was able to get the snatch out of the spawn and, you know, get running back into their spawn. The Zeta Division had, you know, sort of egg on their face.
Yeah, not where they wanted to be there. Nice use of super there for Rama to be able to dive on in, find that elimination here. And yeah, I mean, no surprise to see Shitampo credited with many of these eliminations, but up front and center in the enemy's face, not where you want to be when you have 9 gems.
Exactly. You know, ultimately, the objective is where you've got to play, and that is a statistic which goes to show the aggressiveness of Zeta Division 1. But Chazmak were just able to, you know, get those clutch steals. Now this is going to be interesting. I've been watching Zeta Division 1 in scrims on Dueling Beetles, and they have been so fierce. I hope Chazmak have been scrutinizing it as much as I have. Poco in the mid here, they are going to be a difficulty to shake, and it's not banned.
Yeah, a distinctive map here, but this is actually Chazmak's best game type.
It is.
86% win rate here on Hot Zone, so far and above their home ground. Let's see how they make use of that advantage, if it exists.
The first pick coming in for Zeta with the bans there of Stu, B, and it's going to be Gus coming in. I'm not surprised to see it, but they're not going to show the Poco just yet. Ruffs would be a nice one for them as well. They've had that a lot on this map in scrims. Squeak as well. Penny in the Crow band out by the side of Chazmak. Bell is a good first pick, by the way. It's a kind of safety net. It doesn't kind of give away too much too soon, and it is a very versatile brawler, especially with the reload gear now. It's really coming in so prominently into the meta. Gus, now Zeta want to get their hands on that brawler.
Gus and Otis picked up for them there. Moya Goku's been on Gus so far, had some fantastic use of the gadget Kuki Popper, right? As soon as that ghost gets generated on, you know, on hit with one of his opponents, he pops it up pretty much straight away.
Haven't seen Buster yet today. You know, I'm thinking that this could be the time to do so. It's going to be a little bit of a later pick ultimately, because if there's too much wall breaking potential on the map, then that could be something that could then be a troubling thing. Rough spike, Chazmak. It's like they're reading Zeta quite well here. Like picking that brawler now, I think is a wise choice. Ultimately, one that would have really nicely wrapped up the draft on the side of Zeta Division 1. So, you know, the sandbags especially, of course, going to be
staying power, right?
Exactly. Yeah, having some of that in the mix, you know, it can just provide that time that you need on the zone to really trickle down the timer and make the most of the objective.
Open up some of those sight lines for Rama as well with air superiority, right? You do have some wall break potential if you want to go in that direction. And it's a very serviceable side lane brawler, you know, if you want to take them there. Yeah, Buster, man, a curious one. I mean, you know, that definitely benefits from grouping up, and so does Pam. Love to see that come in here.
Yeah, it's a very underrated brawler here. You know, SK would use this a lot in the EMEA region. It's a difficult one to shake. Ultimately, normally left as a third and final pick. But, you know, you get that defensive nature of it and the healing qualities off the back of it. And now Zeta are kind of feeling probably themselves, we need some healing here. You know, ultimately, it's going to be very tough for them to be able to push when there's so much potential for Pam to dominate.
It's all about that staying power right now. That's not healing up. What is this? Again, the Carl going to be picked up.
It seems to be a staple diet so far for Zeta, but I mean, it did drop off the meta a little bit in other regions. But again, you know, this is one of those things that I love about the World Finals, because all the other teams are watching to see what everyone else is doing. And, you know, maybe now people are starting to realize, have they missed a trick with Carl? Have they forgotten about the aggressive nature of it and what it can do? And hopefully for Zeta, they're able to use that flying hook really well, like they have been, and go in and get that aggressive start.
Shitampo wants to start to get some of that first little capture progress down. All right, Rama, trying to give Shitampo the hot foot here with that gadget activation. Shitampo, though, pretty well unperturbed Goku really wants to close the gap on Naui as much as possible. He's looking out for Scrap Sucker, but another gadget activation from Rama. But he goes the way of the Weary first.
Good start for Zeta, and the fat splatter is popped there by Goku, quite obviously so, and he's going to place it down on the left-hand side. Tampa going in and going to get that takedown onto Rama. That's going to delay the onset of these spawns, and already 40% of time on the zone. And Chazmak have really got to start to get into this, and that is a good way to start.
And you do knock out a little bit of some of that protective architecture as the red side here, but Rama more than happy to get aggressive and keep Zeta Division 1 moving. 49-9 already though, so Zeta off to an absolute red-hot start.
Rama so low there, and the Scrap Sucker didn't quite connect for Naui, so that's going to allow then Zeta to push forward just a little bit. Now, finally, some healing potential, but Shitambo spots it very early on, flying hook in, gets Gero taken down, and what a play from him. Rama quickly to follow is screen Naui in a 3 versus 1. That is not going to help, but he's doing his best.
Yeah, look, Zeta are quite low here, so a bit of uncertainty about who's going to trade time on the point here. Naui, decent range, of course. Scrap Sucker extremely punishing, and Gero has returned now. Nest egg thrown down here just in case the aggression comes, but Shitambo's able to go around it, and the positive feedback's not enough to keep Gero up.
Yeah, a great time to do it. He knows exactly where it is. He doesn't want to forget later on in the map, as now he then goes down, leaving Rama completely exposed as well. 60% now for Zeta, and pushing forwards with the shield pop there from Kenji. Gero is going to struggle because he does get the mark landed, but now he goes down himself, and this is going to be a tough spot. Zeta are still holding on.
None of that cover left now for Chazmak as they try and hold their ground. It's going to be a healing station on the left-hand side, but Shitambo will not be denied. That's 2 eliminations there for the superstar, and Chazmak are getting run out of town.
Goku is spinning, and I think rightly so, because Shitambo was absolutely dominant, and I feel like maybe it's the time to start batting that particular brawler against this very team.
Hands on hips there for Shitambo. He says, can't believe we're in this situation. We gotta focus up a little bit here after dropping that second set. That looked pretty dominant. So no take cover, no sandbags for the roughs here. It's actually that air support here, just really trying to make it hard to stand in one place as Zeta up on that point.
Early placement there as well from Rama, just trying to get some early time on the zone. And I agree with that as well. That's what kind of Chazmak didn't have the best start previously. They do need to start that now, but the damage gears are in play. Takedown is there though also. Goku low, and Kenji is going to be pushing now from the right, and now he's got to take care of that.
He is so durable though, but eventually damage comes in from too many different angles. Rama now with the supply drop, and Shitambo wants to get in. They've been focusing Rama down so hard. Every time he appears, Shitambo is beeline for that Russ.
It's a great pairing, isn't it, between Kenji and Shitambo? You know, getting that shield in, and just in the right timings for Shitambo to really get the maximum value. But now we're already out of position there. Rama's muted out as well. The Cookie Popper as well coming into play will keep him low, but that healing station from the Pam is now really starting to get the value it needs, and keeping that distance between themselves and Zeta is going to keep it standing.
Shitambo going in here, very durable. Again, so much available. I mean, if there's a protected pirouette in the mix, he just cannot be taken down. Another 2 kill for Shitambo. Absolutely filthy.
Disgusting stuff. It really is, and he's just on an absolute tear right now. Chazmak don't know what to do with him, so they're just kind of leaving him. Great pickup though from Rama, great observation. Able to notice that it's the perfect time for that kill takedown, and they've got now the high ground, starting to get ahead. They are in the lead with 1 minute 30 seconds remaining.
Good turret, good healing station placement here. Rather, Shitambo doesn't care. It's another gut super, and it's another dive on him with the tailspin. Absolutely dirty. Gero can't even stand up, but now Zeta Division 1 can make up that deficit.
If Shitambo gets super, it's a guaranteed kill, if not 3 back to back.